See if there's anything.
I'll do it tomorrow if you do. I just didn't want to. It's very little.
I'd like to call the Mentor City Council regular meeting, June 6, 2023 to order. The invocation will be given by Councilperson Dowling.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. Help us to use good judgment for the business at hand and guide us in wisdom with a continuing sense of truth and fairness for the community we represent.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here.
Mr. Kirchner.
Excused.
Mr. Krieger.
Here.
Mr. Marne.
Here.
Mr. Blake.
Here.
Mr. Donovan.
Here. Council, you're in receipt of the May 16, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
So move. Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes. We have a public hearing, ordinance number 23-0-046. This public hearing is now called to order and is being held pursuant to notice duly published and posted according to law. The ordinance number is number 23-0-046.
An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Mentor 2006 as amended, Section 1155.010, to add service station as a conditional use in the M1 Light Manufacturing District.
Mr. Zeman, any comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Are there any comments from the applicant? The applicant isn't here. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Would the applicant like to respond? They are not here, as I said. Council, you're in receipt of the correspondence received pertaining to this matter. Anything else on the public hearing? Public hearing is adjourned. Tabled legislation, we have none. New legislation. Ordinance number 23-0-047.
An ordinance to authorize revisions to appropriations and declaring an emergency.
Rob,
Mr. Malinowski, please.
thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Members of council, this ordinance simply does two appropriation revisions. Both are increases to the city's general fund in the total amount of $40,100, $35,000 allocated to cyber security initiatives, and $5,100 to professional services related to replacing trees at the two-town detention project basin. Thank you. I recommend approval.
Council, anything?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes. Ordinance number 23-0-047 is approved. Ordinance number 23-0-048.
An ordinance levying an assessment for the installation of a stormwater collection system located at 9482 Headlands Road and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Fowler?
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Swigger, please.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 727.08 and 715.41, an ordinance levying an assessment for the installation of a stormwater collection system at 9482 Headlands Road has been prepared. The constructed improvements consist of the installation of 130 lineal feet of 8-inch diameter storm sewer pipe from an existing storm sewer manhole located in the right-of-way at 9470 Headlands Road to 9482 Headlands Road. Along with the storm sewer pipe, an inlet basin was installed and restoration of the impacted areas was performed. The final construction cost plus 2% simple interest over a 10-year period comes to $2,474.40. Upon council approval of this ordinance, the assessment charges for 9482 Headlands Road will be delivered to the Lake County Auditor for placement upon the tax duplicate, then will be collected as other taxes in equal annual installments over a 10-year period. Thank you.
Council, anything?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Ordinance number 23-0-048 is approved. Ordinance number 23-0-049.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with R.E. Warner and Associates, Inc. for a conditions assessment of the Eleanor G. Garfield Park Pool and Facilities and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Fowler?
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance will allow us to enter into a contract with R.E. Warner Associates, perform a conditions assessment of the Garfield pool, and make recommendations for us going forward as to what improvements we should make. We're happy to answer any questions regarding this ordinance.
Just one thing. Are they looking at the building too, you might have mentioned?
They're looking at the entire facility.
Okay, thank you, sir. Counsel?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Ordinance number 23-0-049 is approved. We have a resolution, number 23-R-109.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to prepare and submit a NatureWorks grant application to the State of Ohio Department of Natural Resources for Phase 1 of the rehabilitation of the trail system at Wildwood Cultural Center and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Fowler?
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes us to apply for the Ohio Department of Natural Resources grant that would provide $15,000 approximately to renovate the trail system at Wildwood. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just one question. What's the path, or what's it going to be made of? What is it, what material, do you know? Not sure.
I believe it'll be the same
We're just-
material that
okay.
we're using.
Crushed limestone.
The crushed limestone, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Counsel?
President?
Oh, Mrs. Dowling, go ahead.
Just want to make a comment. This is very timely. I've had several residents that have made comments about the condition of the path, so they will be thrilled to see this happen.
Counsel?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Resolution number 23-R-109 is approved. We have another resolution, number 23-R-110.
A resolution declaring estimated assessments for the construction of certain sidewalks in Zone 4C associated with the 2022 pedestrian safety program in the city of Mentor, ratifying and confirming publications and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Fowler?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Swigger, please.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. The city's sidewalk contractor, TC Construction Incorporated, has recently completed repairs to the sidewalks in Zone 4C. Approximately 283 slabs of concrete sidewalk were replaced through assessment on 157 properties, with the cost of construction being $72,458.75. A typical 5-foot by 5-foot, 4-inch thick concrete slab cost approximately $237 to replace this year compared to $187 last year. Additional cost of $37.76 per property for administrative cost of mailing and advertising is added to the estimated cost of assessment for each property owner. Total cost of the assessed portion of the work, including construction cost, administrative cost, and interest, 6% over 3 years, comes to $81,514.14. This legislation is a resolution per the Ohio Revised Code declaring the estimated assessments for the construction of sidewalks over the parcel shown in Exhibit A. Upon council approval of this resolution, a notice will be published in the News Herald for 3 consecutive weeks, as required by the ORC. The notice will state that the list of assessments is on file in the office of the city engineer for inspection by the public. Property owners will have 2 weeks after the notice of publication ends in the News Herald to file objections to the cost of assessment in writing to the clerk of council for review. Any objections to the cost of assessments have been resolved and final assessments have been prepared. A final ordinance of assessment will be presented to council for approval. Thank you.
Counsel?
President.
Oh, Mr. Blake?
The cost of these slabs has really risen a lot over the last couple of years. Is that because of the cost of concrete, labor? I mean, I can remember telling people the last time it was in Ward 1 that the cost of a replacement slab was around $125, and
So you're right.
now we're looking at $237 a slab.
That was this year. That was the highest we've seen. Typically, the slabs were around 150 to 175. Say
Right.
175 might have been the average of the past number of years. This was quite an increase, but that was an increase that the industry saw in a broad scope. Concrete prices did go up quite a bit in this program, in the road program. Had a lot to do with the material cost of cement. And a shortage in that material. So hopefully that price will come down, and we'll see how that goes. But that was quite an increase in this year.
So I'd imagine, just taking a guess, private contractors would be charging even higher than that.
I would say so. Typically, the private contractors, because they're typically offering much less quantity, the prices are considerably higher than ours. The work done through our program has been consistently lower than the private market.
Okay, thank you. It's just kind of shocking to see the price of everything go up.
Yes.
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Resolution number 23-R-110 is adopted. We have a second reading, ordinance number 23-0-046.
An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Mentor 2006 as amended, Section 1155.010, to add service station as a conditional use in the M1 Light Manufacturing District.
Council?
I'd like to move this to the third reading.
I'll second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Ordinance number 23-0-046 is going to third reading. Third readings tonight, we have none. Managers report, Mr. Fowler.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. We have one pavement open cut request from JRS Homes, Inc., a new 6-inch sanitary sewer connection at 7313 Andover Drive, and Mr. Swigger would have additional information should council request.
Council? Nothing, okay. That's all, you got more in your
Yeah,
report?
I have more.
Oh, we
We
need
just
to
need
call
to
the roll.
approve that.
Call the roll.
I have to have a motion and a
If the
second.
motion is
Go on,
second.
give me a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. That is approved, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. A large-scale training exercise was held earlier this morning at Mentor High School to measure our response capabilities and to provide our staff an opportunity to practice emergency procedures in a simulated but safe environment with a focus on strategic management level of a school-based emergency. There were nearly 100 participants, mainly school personnel, in the exercise. Focus centered around the practical application of the incident command system and support of the overall needs. The command and control portion of the training was conducted in a tabletop setting with a unified command structure to demonstrate a functional understanding of our emergency response system and any shortcomings in our preparedness. The exercise provided the city and school officials an opportunity to work together in management decision-making to identify needs and take corrective action to mitigate the event. The training was supported by several area fire chiefs and many city officials and was deemed a success. City and school officials are working on a critique of the exercise to formally identify and share the best practices learned at this event, which will be incorporated into our emergency response plan. We'd like to thank all who participated in this valuable training exercise and express our appreciation to City Council for their continued support of our safety services. Lastly, Council, on June 5th through the 9th and 12th through the 16th, members of the Mentor Fire Department are assisting the Junior Women's League of Mentor with Safety Town at Ridge Elementary School. We are teaching fire safety, giving tours of fire engines and ambulances, and assisting with the graduation. 375 Children ages 4 to 6 are scheduled to attend. And lastly, we have 2 new businesses. The Original Hot Dog Factory at 7850 Menor Avenue, Unit 846, and Hopeful Journeys Counseling and Wellness Incorporated at 8518 Menor Avenue, Unit H. We wish them very success and appreciate their valuable investment in our community. That's all I have.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. Clerk's correspondence?
Council is in receipt of the Mentor Municipal Court report for April of 2023. That is all.
Thank you. Commission and committee reports. Council, you're in receipt of the Community Arts Commission, April 6, 2023, and May 4th, 2023. Tree Commission, April 12, 2023. Municipal Planning Commission, May 4th, 2023. Old business?
Mr. President, just had a
Freeman.
question for the administration. I noticed that the $5,100 that we're moving over to the general fund is in regard to 350 replacement trees at the two-town ditch. What sort of resulted in the decision to do that? Was there a survey or a determination recently?
Thank you. Mr. Swier, please.
Yes, Mr. Freeman. The city's required to monitor the two-town detention area, the detention basin and the wetlands that we created over a 10-year period. I think we're at year 5 at this point. So we do have a environmental consulting group that we work with to survey the property annually. We report our results to the EPA. Based on the current density of the trees that are in place, we need to plant these to stay in compliance with our permit.
Thank you. And then I had a question for the law director. I'm assuming the answer to this is no, but as you may know, the United States Supreme Court has reined in the EPA's jurisdiction when it comes to water. Does that decision have any potential impact on our agreement currently with the EPA or the Army Corps or any future similar type of projects?
Probably not. I think it's going to be in flux. One of the things that you'll see is, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but it being Washington, I would imagine, as pure speculation on my part, that these agencies will be coming up with new rules to try to claw back some of what the United States Supreme Court has taken away. That said, the EPA still has jurisdiction over any discharges that may, introduce pollutants into the rivers and then ultimately into the navigable waters of the United States. So I really don't think anything's going to change in that regard. So if there is some type of, and again, pollutant is very, very broadly defined, not just the toxic chemicals. So, where we have this stormwater infrastructure, which absolutely does then discharge into ultimately Lake Erie, I really don't think that decision is going to have any impact on EPA jurisdiction over that infrastructure.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, anything else under old business? New business? Anybody? Persons before council, Julie? We have none? Council?
Move to adjourn.